I'm Shally. Academically, I am a biophysicist. Here I am. We are building Pratilipi. I'll take you through our journey, what we are solving for India, how we are solving for India, and what are our key learnings, mistakes. So, Prathilipi is, I think all of you are aware of it. It's India's largest user-generated storytelling platform across Indian languages. With the vision, we are basically just trying to democratize the art of storytelling across languages, boundaries, and formats. So right now, these are the business units we are operating on, but our flagship product still stays Pratilipi Literature with over 23 million monthly active user base who are reading on our platform, close to 9 lakh now, writers who are publishing across 12 languages. And so there are a couple of other formats also we are live right now, which is Pratilipi Comics, Pratilipi FM, IVM podcast, which is India's top 5 podcasts. And then we have recently acquired India's top 3rd largest traditional publishing house, which is Westland Books. So what is the core thesis at Pratilipi? What are we solving for India? It's fairly simple. We are a platform where a lot of storytellers come and tell their stories. These stories are long-form stories, multi-episodic stories. But then there are so many stories. So far on our platform, if you just talk about 100 plus episodes long, we have 4.5 lakh stories published daily, around more than 12,000 episodes getting published on our platform. How do you judge as a group of people? You might think this is the best story for me. A group of people might think that is the best story for me. How do I judge which is the best story, which has the power of potential of being successful out there in the physical market? And that's where the Prathilipi comes into the picture. So what do we do is essentially we just provide them as a platform. We have an audience throughout the formats which does this validation. We have our unbiased, unsupervised, deep data models, which basically figures out that these are my IPs, these are my stories, which are going to work best in the physical world out there. And that is where Pratilipi comes into the picture as a platform play. So essentially, we very strongly believe that there are the stories, these are these IPs which travel through languages, formats, geographies. For example, Game of Thrones. All of you have must heard about it, or Harry Potter. These are the kind of stories which does not see the formats or geographies or languages. So that's what we do. We basically are just trying to enable this integrated sort of IP ecosystem. With that, I would like to quote, who are these storytellers? So we are in a platform play. So we talked about, these are storytellers who come on our platform and then they write multi-episodic stories. She is Varsha Srivastava, hailing from very small town of Chhattisgarh. She started writing on Pratilipi as a hobby. She is a homemaker. One of her story which got really popular in Hindi, which is known as Murdo Ki Train. Right now on Pratilipi, by this day, this story has been read. More than 14 lakh users have read this story. We localized this story because we knew that Hindi audience is liking the story, so we translated the story Marathi, Telugu, Bengali, few of our top languages. We localized the story. This story traveled through not just the text format, but it traveled through the audio format, motion graphics, comics, and recently, we sold the licensing deal to Applause Entertainment, who's going to produce the web series on this story. So this is how Pratilipi comes into the play as an IP ecosystem, that we create very low cost format, sort of very, very least friction sort of, platform where you come, you tell your story, and we will give you the validation whether this story has a potential to go out and make it big out there. Another such example is Preeti Jadhav. She is from Maharashtra. She has written romantic novel called Vidhilikit. This was in Marathi. Until date, this novel has been read more than 4.5 crore times. So that is the kind of validation we are seeing. Again, the sort of super IP which has been licensed out of our platform. We are very proud to say that so far we have enabled around 150 such super IPs which are in a process of licensing out, or some of the super IPs we are producing ourselves. So when we are talking about these storytellers, right, it's the side of the platform which is bringing the supply on the platform. When we say that we are a user-generated content, long-form content, who are these storytellers for us? So 75% of our storytellers are female, basically coming from the age group of 18 to mostly 35, and most of them are homemakers or they are just graduating. So, and then we did a very small survey with them to just to know, you know, that what are their hobbies, what do they do, are they aspiring to become a full-time writer, or they are looking out to make money out of this, what are they looking in general. And these are some data points I thought that I would like to share with you all, that most of them think that, you know, they are just writing out of hobby. On Pratilipi, 16% of them actually made some meaningful income. So right now almost, so we started monetizing 8-9 months back. And on our platform, I think right now, almost around more than 4,000 such storytellers are making 5,000 plus income a month. So that is where we are. And this is something which is really, really, you know, what Apriya talked about, emotional connect when it comes to what you are building and how you are solving for India, is when we ask them that what is that Prathilipi is giving you when it comes to storytelling. And most of them coherently said that it just gave me an identity, because people knew that this is my story and my story is going to make out there. So this is just the supply side. Let's talk about who are all these audience who are validating and kind of giving us the confidence that if these IPs are going to go big out there. So we started monetizing 8-9 months back, as I told you. So far, you know, we have been able to close 200,000 monthly active subscribers with an annual average revenue per paying user with 24 US dollar. That is probably best in the industry. Also, you know, some of the metrics we are really proud of sharing here is that our paid users retention rate, which is month 12 retention rate, is almost 85% plus. These users come, so almost 60% plus users come all the 7 days of a week, and they spend more than 3.5 hours on our app daily. So you see the repeat purchase behavior going smiling curve, the most smiling curve demanded when it comes to resubscription, when it comes to repeat purchase behavior. Yeah, and we have barely started the monetizing part of the entire business. When we talk about how do we monetize India, here we are. In general, all the user base I just talked about, this is what the engagement look like on Pratilipi. On an average, people who read on Pratilipi more than 100 stories a month, that number is 35% of our monthly active user base. And people who are weekly active user base, out of that, all the 7 days, almost 40% plus people are coming and they are reading on Pratilipi. So this is more like, there are storytellers who are live publishing their episode. It's like, you know, watching a TV serial that every day a new episode comes. These users come and then they read these episodes. Who are this audience who are reading on Pratilipi? This is, I just very sort of demographics around that. So, you know, one contrasting data point I would like to share is, if you talk about any internet company, a lot of people are here with data. In case of Pratilipi, we have 55% of our even audience base is female, is women. And the most read genre, consumed genre on our platform. So we are primarily focused in fiction. We talk about FM, we talk about comics, we talk about literature. We are primarily focused towards fiction. Suspense, thriller, and romance and horror. These are the top 3 genres what we have seen read by the most users. Similarly, I think someone from AppsFlyer also talked about the city-wise demographics, that what are all the city-wide app consumers in India. We also see the similar trends. Almost around 36% of our user base is coming from top 7 cities of India. And that's why, you know, the probably the higher ARPU we are seeing, at least in the first 9 months of monetizing. And what we very strongly believe in, that this is the future of storytelling we are in. It's not a business of reading and writing. It's not just a business of making an OTT platform. It's a business of how do we make sure that this many stories coming day in, day out, how Prathilipi plays a part with our Project X and a lot of other projects which we have under pipeline right now, which validates all of these IPs to figure out the potential to make it out there as a super IP, and which, you know, all of us are going to watch on the big screen. So this is what where we see ourselves as probably building Disney for India, close to that. they are very, very, very far ahead. Learnings and mistakes. I thought that I would also like to share this with you guys. So we have been in this since last 7 years now. We started this uh, venture of building Pratilipi and solving for India. When we talked about Indian languages, nobody understood that. People used to call that you are building for some social services, like, what is this? This is pre-geo we are talking about. So nobody was aware about, what is Indian languages. There was no digital India, there was no Bharat 2.0, nothing. So first thing first is, a lot of people actually gave us the kind of opinions, and a lot of people gave us the advice that, the total creators or the storytellers on our platform is not going to exceed more than 10,000 in numbers, absolute numbers. And it was not one or two. There were a lot of industry veterans out there whom I used to look up and we used to look up. They shared this data, and still we kept building. So one piece of advice from me is, if you think that the problem you are trying to solve is worth solving for you, till the time you have given your 100%, please don't give up. That number right now is close to 9 lakh on our platform, though it took us time. And you are building for India, so you are here for a long time. Please take it with a pinch of salt. It's not 2 years, 3 years of game. You are here, you are riding a wave of entire revolution. Another very important, probably I'll just I thought that, I'll share this with you as well, that one of the very core value to the company, and which is very close to our heart, is being really transparent to stakeholders. Either you call it your teams, colleagues, or external stakeholders. Allow the information access to them. Obviously, you have hired the right talent after a lot of hustling. And then give them that sort of access with information to take the right decision in their day-to-day life. Give that ownership, give that freedom to failure. That is, I think, something which I would like to give, as we have learned over a period of time, that once you have hired the right people, then just go out of their way and just make them do the magic. With that, that's it. Thank you.
My name is Muskan, and I want to ask about, when you shortlist stories,
Yeah.
do you also provide editorial support, the support you'll get back to them in 48 hours? What support does
It's
that
basically,
entail?
if they are confused somewhere, if they do not know how to publish, if they do not understand the know-how about how to make it, how to write on the platform.
Okay, so nothing in content development, just content
No.
publishing, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hi ma'am, my name is Avijit. I head the growth marketing or the product marketing of Hoi Choi, which is also an entertainment business. So my question is, previously you said you were not monetizing it, and gradually you went ahead, started taking the subscription or monetizing it. So I want to understand what kind of trend changes you saw in user acquisition, and what kind of dip you saw, what was the percentage, and then from there, how you started your growth journey again. Because I'm pretty sure when you start monetizing it, you must have seen a dip in the user acquisition, and then again starting a growth journey would be a completely different journey, I guess.
So I would just like to mention that we are not very heavy on acquiring user from outside. So we have our organic base, and we are mostly converting them only in the paid users. So user acquisition is not a concern for us, but engagement is something, which we have seen kind of doubled, because the kind of monetization layer we have built on our existing model. So this is something called, wait and unlock model, which is where, you either read the story, you binge read the story, you binge consume the content, or you wait every day. So nothing is completely paid on our platform. So we have kind of figured out a method where we are seeing even the retention and engagement has kind of spiked after we have launched monetization. And acquisition is not at the question for us.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
What was the change in that retention percentage when you started monetizing it?
Exactly same. We haven't seen any change. That's what, right? So because user acquisition is primarily, we were doing very few. We were not very high on marketing budgets even earlier. And we are monetizing even now. The marketing budgets are not very high.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.